I have to ask your view on the hot button topic in the markets right now, and this is this whole Jane Street saga. And I've heard people saying that, so what's the big deal? They used their algo, they were clever, they found an opportunity and they took it. And obviously the regulator thinks that they have played dirty. How do you look at it? And do you see any impact at all in how global investors view India?
So the way I would put it is this, right? If you look back at the last 30 years of the Indian stock market, right? Like in any other stock market, there are scams and scandals in the Indian stock market from time to time. But there's two different types of scams and scandals that have characterized India over the last 30 years. The ones of the 90s, right? The Harshad Mehta scam, the Ketan Parekh scam, those were fundamentally scams around manipulating liquidity in the market. Whereas the issues we've had this century are around accounting, right? So, for example, Satyam was an accounting scam. If you look back at the events of August 2018, DHFL was an issue on accounting. So, the scams of this century, of the last, say, 20 years or so, have been around accounting. The scams of the 90s were around liquidity. My reading is that the bulk of the issues the Indian market will face over the next couple of years will be around liquidity. My reading is accounting quality actually has held up pretty well in this bull run. Where things have gone a little messed up is liquidity has been manipulated, has been abused. There's a range of, I think, violators there. I think the regulator is right to bring some of them to heel. But I think there's a broader issue around liquidity being abused, misused, manipulated to benefit a few at the expense of the many.
So it is a misuse, and cracking down on it is good. But do you see any impact going forward? I mean, we saw an initial...
Absolutely, there will be impact, right? There are people accessing the Indian market,
Yeah.
not just from overseas. There are people accessing the Indian market from India who are participating in the market, abusing and manipulating the market to their own ends. And I think the regulator is absolutely right to go after them. And I think this will be an issue over the next couple of years, because my reading is we track accounting quality quite closely. Accounting quality actually has held up pretty well, and credit to our authorities, both in Delhi and in Bombay. Credit to our authorities for making sure that accounting quality didn't go for a toss in this bull market. I know Gensol happened, but I think Gensol is an aberration. I don't see a systemic accounting issue in this bull market. What I see though is, and we do plenty of forensics on liquidity as well, I see plenty of examples of liquidity being manipulated, being abused to profit a select few. And I think that's where the regulator is rightly focusing its attention.
You might see subdued liquidity for some time, subdued volumes for some time in the markets as, you know, we get
Yeah,
used to all this.
as the manipulators get cracked down on, I think as SEBI also made it clear that this is just the beginning. As the
Right.
manipulators get cracked down on, obviously they will pull back, and when they pull back, liquidity drops off.
Yeah, but in the long term, you need that cleanse. So that's important.
Absolutely, you do. So,
Yeah.
so in many different ways, right? The party, I think, is broadly over in the market, and specifically in small and mid caps. For those who are watching, I think the party is over. Had earnings been stronger, had earnings been firing, had valuations been more modest, I would have been more optimistic about mid caps. But the combination of, it's actually quite easy to, if you do the analysis, the combination of illiquid stocks with weak fundamentals being driven into the sky, that is easy to spot in the data. And that those illiquid stocks with weak fundamentals, which have been pumped up into the sky, they will pull back as liquidity gets withdrawn on the back of a cleansing of the market.